we're just gonna,
Oh my gosh.
we're just gonna go for it. All right, now we're live. Let me tweet it. Gonna give it a minute because it takes people like a second to start coming in. Oh, people are waiting, guys. Wow. All right. I got screwed over too. I haven't had 3 people. It's me, Forest Mommy. Oh, go ahead. What?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, will we be able to see who's watching, or can you just see it?
I can't see who's watching. All I can see is a number. But
okay.
the comments, you might be able to get to the comment screen. It's kind of weird on StreamYard. Hey, someone said hey. I was trying to used to be able to put it up where comments come on the screen, but that's a little too above my pay grade right now. So, all right, let me introduce. So, I'm Forest Mommy. We have Susie. Want to say hey, aka Steak, and Emily. I don't know if which I want to go. Let's go and just kind of like give a little overview of like who you are real quick. I'll start with you, Susie. Just obviously from Twitter, but like whatever you kind of want to say about yourself.
Yeah, I'm just a housewife from Kansas. Used to own a business, but we'll get into that later. And that's about it. I do a little homesteading. I have some chickens and a garden. I'm getting bees next year, and that's about my life right now. I'm married, have a kid.
All right.
I hate the government. So
Emily. We all hate the government. That's why we're here, baby. What about you, Emily?
Yeah. Well, I'm a yoga and Pilates teacher, used to be a dancer. I live in LA, which has been wild the past 2 years, which is kind of what brought me to Twitter and brought me to this community of people. I own my own business. I designed this line of bodysuits. I'm just trying to like keep my momentum and my motivation going through all of this and hopefully inspire other people to do the same, and just living here with my cat, doing my thing.
That's sweet cat.
I'm sure
okay, yeah, they always got to like come up. My dog, luckily I'm up high, but they're always around here too. But but while we jump into it, Susie, why don't you talk about your business and what happened and all that?
Oh yeah, I owned a Rockabilly clothing company. I built it from $150 in a dream. It was sole proprietor, so it was just me and help when I could get help from my family. And I would travel all over the country peddling my wares. And because of the mandates and the shutdowns and all of that, I had to close it because they were limiting people at events. They were shutting down events altogether. The state still wanted money from me. They still wanted their taxes. And so I had to shut it down because I was like, I have nothing to give you. So that's where we're at on that. I did it about 3 years, maybe no, 4 years. And it's all gone now.
And what kind of events would you like go to, like car shows and things like that, or?
Yeah, mostly rockabilly hot rod events, because they are different than like regular hot rod events. So those were always my best because I did mainly kids' clothes, and then I had some adult stuff too, and then I did vintage reproduction also. So I was a busy little bee.
Doing it again? Like, do you want to bring it back?
I don't see it happening right now. With rockabilly, it's about the cars, the music, and then the clothes. So when people can't afford to fill up their hot rods to drive to all the shows, because people would do that, they take like a whole month out of their summer for their vacation and drive to all of these different shows. Car guys are going to car guy, and they're going to do everything they can to get their cars running, but that means that they're not going to spend money on clothes. So I don't see it right now, when things costing more, and it's going to cost an arm and a leg. So I don't think I'm going to make near as much as I did before, which would make it not worth it. So I was just barely breaking even in the beginning.
And what about you, Emily? How has it been with business for you out there?
Despite like everything that's been going on, like personally, things have been going pretty well for me. Like every time I think that something fucked up is going to happen and it's going to like ruin everything for me, it ends up like being okay. And so I'm just kind of like going with the flow of it, and yeah, it's been okay. Like I've gone through little like periods where I'm I need to get out of LA, but there's nowhere else that I really feel like I'm meant to be right now. So it's kind of hard, like when you don't feel like called somewhere, and everything that I've built is here. I've been teaching for like 6 years and I have a following here and I have like a lot that I've invested in my life here. And so when people are like, you need to just leave LA, I'm like, well, it's not that easy. Like I've invested like my whole life in what I've built here. So,
Right. Yeah, that is frustrating when people are like, just move. Even people say that about Colorado. They're like, just move. I'm like, I'm not moving. Like, sorry.
Yeah,
like
my whole family.
We shouldn't have to move. Though.
No, exactly.
We shouldn't be put in this situation where there's these fucked up cities that we have to escape from. You shouldn't have to escape from LA. You should be able to love LA and enjoy it with all your freedoms and not get fucked over. So,
I've just been, for the most part, like ignoring every mandate and everything that's happened. And I just like don't care. And for the most part, like nobody says anything to me. Like I've had maybe in the past 2 years, like 2 or 3 interactions with people that are like trying to mass police me or whatever. But for the most part, like people leave me alone and I just do my thing anyway. So.
Have you been wearing masks at your studios while you're teaching, or at the studio while you're teaching and stuff?
No, I don't do it. I don't participate in it ever. Nobody says
like
anything.
Reported you?
No.
Because that was my yoga teacher, the one I like hired, because I still haven't been back to my studio, but I'd hired her for a while, and she was being really lax at first. And this studio is kind of close to Boulder, of course, and she got reported. Like someone literally reported her, and like she was just like, but now she's all bought into it anyways, because she's like, oh, this is a vax only class, and I was like, okay, I'm glad I was supporting you and paying you money under the table this whole year for you to just like turn into that anyways, but whatever.
Yeah, it's been disappointing to see the way that people have like jumped on board with this stuff, especially in like the yoga community. It's like, aren't you supposed to be teaching people essentially how to free themselves from their own like limitations, but you're like buying into this like system of segregation. And like, it's just, there's so many like conflicts of interest there for me that I look at like certain other people in the yoga scene and I'm just like, how is this making sense to you right now?
Yeah, just the whole being healthy, like you do this to be healthy, like that's the whole point. Like then they're like, no, but you can't be healthy without this one shot. So,
but
so you guys are both close. So, go ahead.
Are we like, is our sound like overlapping or something? We have like a delay, I think.
It has a little, there's just a little delay, but it's all good.
Don't you kind of feel like the people that have, like, the truth is like already like really coming out? Like I really feel like I just have this feeling within me that like people are gonna be feeling really stupid. I don't want to say like I hope for that, but like it's falling apart. Like the shit is falling apart before our eyes. Like, is it not? Like,
well, I think like Forest Mommy and I both tweeted yesterday about half an hour apart. You could tell the narrative surrounding Schmovid is like it's falling apart, and they're kind of backpedaling on some things, and I don't know. I think there's something worse coming.
Do you really?
I feel like it's either they're either just going to kind of just let COVID fizzle away and they're not going to worry about it too much after the winter. And then I feel like they're either going to start focusing on the climate and racism again, or we're going to get this super flu that's been there's rumors that there's going to be this super flu that's going to come around. And
like, don't you think a lot has to do with like the Trump situation and like the election, and that it kind of comes in these waves where like they build it up, like building up to the election. It's like this cycle that we're constantly like in, and they're going to let it die down for a little bit, but then it's going to build back up. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we are getting into midterms next year, but I don't know. They're going to say what they need to say. I know
Well,
we're
going
not
on
going to
like
get.
this. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm saying
What
they're
were you
gonna. What?
No, I was just gonna say, going on your point, and like what we were saying yesterday, either they're gonna like ignore COVID, or they're gonna make a bunch of people sick with it and be like, "See, we told you guys," and like, and then the people who are kind of starting to feel wrong are gonna be like, "No, we weren't wrong. We were actually justified, or whatever." Like I want the things to fall. I want it to stop, but it's like, if we've gotten this far, and these people who were people that I would never have expected to fall in line with this, if we've gotten this far, what they're like, what's to stop some of them now, you know?
I don't know. I think they're going to start cracking down on other things more. Since people aren't on the COVID train like they thought they would be. I don't know. I think they're going to start pushing the climate shit, and they're still going to continue to push the passports, and it's not going to end well for any of us. So I'm a bit of a Debbie Downer, though.
Cheers
You know?
to that.
I would rather. I don't know. I guess I'm a glass half empty person, because I would rather be pleasantly surprised than disappointed. So I always just look at the negative side of things, because then if things go right, then it's like, oh yeah, all right. And if they go wrong, it's like, oh, fuck, I don't want to do that. So I guess I'm backwards.
No, like having low expectations can like be a good thing sometimes. So you're like, oh.
I think I tried.
You got.
Oh, am I cutting you off?
She was cutting out. There we go. Maybe it's my internet. Sorry. I live in a small town.
But
It's
go ahead,
spotty out here.
Emily.
I was just
Fine. It's all good.
I think I try to be like a realist in the sense that like I can be aware of like all these potentials of like things going well or things going wrong, and I can like be prepared for them in whatever sense. But like I also just try to stay like present in my own reality, and like what is happening for me right here, right now, and what is real for me right here, right now, and what is like the future that I'm trying to create for myself. And when I think of like that trajectory, that is always coming from a positive place. Like things are always working out the best for me. Like my future is bright. My future is good. Like what I'm creating is positive. And like, so far that has served me to think that way and to exist that way. And it's like, even with all the chaos happening around me, it's like, I just like, dodge these hurdles and pivot and do whatever I need to do to like, just keep living my life, I can't live in like fear. Like I can't be like, like, I don't know. I can't be like worried about like this shit. It's like, I don't have time for it.
I don't know. I guess I'm a little bit of the opposite.
Yeah.
Because I do.
I was outside. They stopped at my house.
Oh, okay. That's all good,
Everybody
right?
okay?
Yeah.
Are we evacuating?
No, they said they couldn't get a hold of me.
Oh.
To take this show on the road.
We're good for now. So go ahead, keep going. If I pop out.
Oh shit! I lost my train of thought. Hold on.
We're gonna say that you were like the opposite.
Yeah, like I'm the negative Nancy. Yeah. Because basically my whole life now, because I don't have my business. After the lockdowns, I don't know, all my autoimmune stuff kind of kicked into full drive, and my body just gave up on me. So I had to lose my EMT license, because I used to be a firefighter and EMT. And yeah, I've done everything. Like I can't stick with anything. But my whole life now is like, basically, like I have my chickens, and I'm going to have my bees, and I have my garden, and I have, foods. I'm always constantly food savoring things and rotating things out in my stockpiles. And so it's like all the time for me. So it's really hard to totally keep it separate, I guess, because it's my life, it's the only way I know how to take care of my family now, is to make sure that they are fed, and that our home is ready, and that we're ready in case something happens. because everybody's going to everybody laughs until you're the only one that has shit, you know? And so it's hard not to have down days, I guess, when it's just so fucking heavy, you know, because it's like there's a lot of news or something and you're just like, you know, why do I bother doing this during my day, or why do I bother doing that? Because, you know, it all might end soon, but I have to remember what I'm doing it for and take myself out of that headspace. So I'll wallow in it for a day or two, but then I'm like, nope, get your ass back up and get back to work, because you have people that depend on you. So that's where
I'd say I'm similar to that too, where I've been like the whole 2 years has just been like up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Just because like I have this stupid little life that I've built, and they like the stupid few little things I love to do, they took from me or made it hard for me to do. And it's like, it's hard not to be, I know they call that like the main character syndrome or whatever, but I'm like, but it's hard when like it's your life and the stupid little things you do. And now I can't. And those were the little things that kept me happy and kept me going every day. And like I would wake up, like I would used to go to my yoga studio because I did a trade, so I get free yoga, so I would go there all the fucking time. Like I would go there like 5 times a week, you know. And now it's like I haven't been in 2 years. I just want to sweat. I want to sweat like that again, you know. Like it is, but it is good that like it's good to be like down to some extent, because it is sad. Like what is going on is very real. Like who would have ever fucking thought we'd be dealing with this? But this is like some real ass shit, you know? And it's hard to be like, it is hard to be constantly positive. Oh, someone in the chat says Emily has the right perspective on this. Good job. Ignore the bullshit.
Do you know
Okay.
what's
Someone go ahead.
Do you know what's funny? Like, Twitter has really, I'm grateful for Twitter for a lot of reasons, for a lot of the people that I've met, and for like the outlet to like express my true thoughts about these things, because I don't have a lot of places that I can do that in my life, like for other reasons and in other spaces that I'm in. But one thing I will say about Twitter is that it's definitely like, obviously it's exposed me to like so many other perspectives and people that live in other places in the country and things like that. But it's like, sometimes I'll talk to people here and I'll kind of have this like alarmist, like shit's gonna hit the fan, like perspective. And they're like, what are you talking about, Emily? Like if I talk to like my normie friends here, they're like, what are you talking about? Like they're like, you're insane, basically. I have like 3 friends in LA that are like anarchists, libertarians, like know what's going on, but everybody else thinks that I'm the crazy one. They're like, you are fucking insane. Like, so it's just funny that it's like different, just completely different ways of looking at these things, you know?
Well, my social life is totally awkward now. I don't have anything else to talk about, like besides fucking politics, and I hate politics, and prepping, and you know, the end of the world,
And soup.
basically. And so, yeah, fucking soup. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that keeps me going, I guess, every week, because I'm like, oh, I have somebody I have to be accountable to, kind of. I mean, you know, I love all my Twitter peoples, but you know, it's not real. So, but the soup is real. I
Right.
eat the soup. But I mean, I think Twitter has helped me feel a little bit more sane, because for a long time, I felt like a fucking crazy person. Like I was telling people, I was like, this is what's happening. Like they're going to roll out vaccines. They're going to roll out mandates. They're going to do this and they're going to do that. And like all this shit is coming true, you know, and they have those things that say, go apologize to your conspiracy theorist friends. And I'm like, yeah, but people, like I felt so crazy for such a long time. And if people aren't awake yet, if you're not awake, wake up. It's okay. There's a lot of us here. Twitter was very helpful with that. I found a lot of people that were like-minded, that I don't want to say like confirmed what I was thinking, but it was like, it's nice to know that there's other people here and I don't have to feel so crazy, even though we're all whack jobs. But
yeah, there's other people here, and like a lot of us are like around the same age, which that was really nice to like realize that like, oh, not everybody my age is like on board with everything, and just like everyone lives their cool lives, what lives we're allowed to still live, and like everyone's so different, but then we like still all agree on this, like these ideas that A, this is fucked up, and B, like liberty, you know? So Twitter has been amazing for that.
Who was it? Somebody posted today. They said that, like, what was it? Like I'm going to fuck it up, but they said something about, they called us like geriatric millennials or something was the thing they used, which I just assume is older millennials. Because unfortunately, I got lumped into that older millennial category. Like, I remember we called ourselves Gen Y. Like, we never called ourselves millennials. We were Gen Y, as in, why not? You know, because we were 90s kids. And that and what they say, Gen Xers they're the ones that are generally the most against the mandates and things. And, you know, he equated it to like latchkey kids and things like that, and how we just don't like being told what to do. And I think it's kind of true. I mean, we were, for the most part, raised without the internet. You know, like, I didn't have texting on my phone until I was in college, because my parents were not going to pay those 10 cents a message when I was in school. And so I think we grew up without the mass brainwashing of kids via the internet, and like just stuff flying at you constantly. And it was, you know what, the news was on at 7 o'clock or whatever, and your parents would watch it, and then that was it, and you probably didn't care. And now it's just, I don't know, that you can't escape it. I mean, unless you go live out in the woods somewhere, which sounds pretty good right now.
We're all working on it, right?
I wish I had some land.
I feel like
I'm gonna have to live with my parents, but I'm gonna do it.
I've considered it, because they have the money for property.
I feel like
multi-generational living. It's so funny because I moved out so young, and then I'm like, can I move back in now? Like, can I come out? Go on, Emily.
Well, I was just gonna say, I feel like millennials were the most like disenfranchised by the system. They were made like so many promises, like you're going to go to college and you're going to like have this great life and there's going to be all these job opportunities. And it was just all like lies, 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 lies. Like, now you're just in debt. Now you can't buy a house. It was just like everything was like collapsing in front of us. And it just, I think that's why like millennials are kind of the most like jaded about the system. But there's also like a ton of millennials that are like driving the whole like woke train forward, you know, and they're like, but it's kind of for the same reasons, I think, because they feel like disenfranchised by the system, but they want to like use the system to like control people or whatever it is. But yeah.
Or just to make some sort of, I don't know, because I felt out of control at times, just because I'm like, why? Like, I went to college and I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, this is not what I want to do at all. Like, I went to K-State actually, and I went for engineering, and like, I'm not stupid, but I'm like, I don't want to.
You're brainy. We got a brainy girl.
No, I have smoked myself stupid. What are you talking about? I have. That's what I've done. It's all gone. I don't remember anything, but it's, you know, I think a lot of us went through that. Why are we here? Like, we were told, go to college, you have to go to college. And nobody said anything about trades, you know, and like, I probably would have been better off going to welding school or something, you know, and done something practical instead of wasting money on an education that I didn't use. And it's, I don't know. I think people are feeling misled, a lot of us, and I'm just tired of it. I guess I don't want to make broad generalizations, but I'm fucking tired.
Especially after the 90s. I know like a lot of millennials' parents in the 90s, like all of a sudden went, I know my parents, we were a blue collar family, but my parents still did like, well, like they still did well because of the way, you know, the way the economy was working, they didn't have to blow all this money on stuff. And like, so after seeing that as millennials, and you're like, oh, okay, we'll do the same thing. And then it was like, no, it's not working out the same way now. Like and then the economy crashes. I mean, we had the like, I was on my own too when that, the first crash happened, 08, 07, 08. So like, that was the first, like, that was a major big issue, you know? And then like, then this shit happened. I remember I was on a board call last year and I was like, can we just stop having stuff happen? And then that same board this year wouldn't let me come to a meeting because I'm not vaccinated. I'm like, you guys are like, you don't understand. You keep doing this shit to us and it's like affecting us. It's like, stop. But whatever. It must be all planned out and stuff. Let's see.
Yeah, they wrote a book about it. They've game planned it. You know, like, and people don't want to
Yeah.
believe that. It's like, it's there. They're telling you what they're doing. And if you're still going to be willfully ignorant about it, then I'm to the point where I'm like, we can't help you anymore. If you can't see what's going on by now, I don't think you can. I mean, I don't know how much we need to spoon feed you to get you to understand that we're all fucked. And unless we do something about it, it's not going to change. It's just going to get worse. But I think people are too comfortable. Some people are going to get mad at me for this. I'm sorry. But like me personally, I'm willing to give up my house over mandates. Like, I don't work right now, but my husband does, and they have a mandate at work. And I was like, I begged him. I was like, don't do it. Please don't, because I told him flat out, I was like, I'll probably lose a little bit of respect for you if you do that, because that's just not where I line up at all. And, I see what it's doing. I'm being vague on purpose so I don't get kicked. I see what it's doing, how it's harming people. And so I'm like, we have a camper. And so I said, screw it. We'll go live, on my in-laws' property for a while if we have to. I'm willing to lose the house over this. And, I would rather be homeless than have a dead husband. So that's my position on it. I know other people aren't comfortable with that. I know that I'm self-sufficient enough that I can, feed and take care of my family. You don't really need a lot of money to do that if you know what you're doing. So I don't know. That's where I'm at.
It's true. It's sad that we have to think about that. My whole thing is if they start showing up to our doors to force something to me, I'm like, oh no.
That's not going to end well. No.
No.
They can start in the big cities and they'll see how that ends up.
Yeah. Christ.
Sorry, Emily, they're coming for you first.
You can just come back east. You can come to Colorado, and if shit gets that bad.
Okay.
And then we'll go to Kansas if Colorado falls. I'm just kidding.
There you go. There's a lot of open space out here, and we don't have mountains to deal with. Nice and flat.
True.
You can walk all day.
Too funny.
I love it here. We have gorgeous sunsets.
Someone said they love your flag. Terribly tactical. He's my buddy. He loves your flag.
Mine or yours?
Yours.
Oh, me?
He's seen mine before.
It's my Beavis flag. It says, "Are you threatening me?" I love this flag. It's actually my backup. Good. I bought two because I take one to the campsite and I put it up.
Love it. Starts catching up all these. Someone, of course, brought up Jack Murphy. Great.
Why would they so yes?
Are you okay with not talking about him? Because I'm okay with not talking about him.
That's just silly. It's silly at this point. Someone else is a firefighter in here. Someone asked about the fires here. The fires are in the suburbs just north of me, but I don't know. It sounds like the fire or the wind has subsided, and we don't have an evac order, so it's just a scare. It's like I grew up in a forest, so I was always scared of forest fires growing up, and then now you have to be scared of suburb fires because all the houses are packed in so tight, and that's just crazy. Crazy. Okay, we're caught up on that. Anyways.
Sorry, Bob's bugging me.
How's everybody's day? Is that the black dog?
Yes, this is Bob. He's very rude.
Aww.
Get out of here, you turd. He's my half Dane, Mick.
Oh,
we call him Handsome Bob. He's pushing me away. We call him Robert when he gets in trouble. Get down.
Oh, he's trying to get on camera. He's like,
he is. Yeah. I tried to take pictures of him, though, when he hides his face. He's notoriously camera shy. He's just upset because my husband's working late. So he doesn't have anybody to hang out with.
Is he tall like a Dane? Is he pretty tall?
He looks like a Dane, but just miniaturized. He's like, how tall are you, Bob? I don't know, maybe 3 feet tall, maybe a little more. I don't know. He's like 90 pounds. I don't know. When he stands up on his back legs, he can put his paws on my shoulders. So I don't know. He's leggy.
Okay. That's pretty big. My dog's like 19 pounds, so that's a big dog. Do you, and how's your sales going? Well, you guys are both clothing people. That's funny that happened because you both have clothing business, or you had, or have
Yeah.
clothing businesses.
Past tense. I still have a lot of stock.
Maybe you could do like
you go
small
ahead,
orders.
Emily.
Did you like sew it? Did you sew it all? Or did you like sew it yourself or like
no,
resale?
I had I did some wholesaling. I had shirts that I did my own printing because I have a heat press. So I did my own shirts. And then I did children's vintage reproduction because adult women's vintage stuff is, not a dime a dozen, but you can get it everywhere. And nobody really cared about doing kids stuff. So I would find vintage kids patterns and remake them. So I have a lot of stock, but I can't like post it anywhere without like doxing myself. So I'm kind of stuck right now because I've got totes of stock still 2 years later. Not really sure what to do with it.
Could you kind of sell it? Like, could you sell it a little bit somehow? Just not.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could. I could probably post some stuff on Twitter and see if somebody bites, but I don't know.
Like
I
like good
like to
old
remain
LuLaRoe.
semi-anonymous.
Just make a little party. Have a little party.
Don't even talk to me about MLMs because I would go off on those.
Me too. Did you see the documentary on it? On LuLaRoe, especially they have a documentary on Amazon.
I did.
It's like it sucks because it wasn't technically like illegal. It wasn't technically illegal. It was wholesaling, but then it's like
it's not
like,
it's not wholesaling though, even because there's no implied business contract with wholesaling unless you have like a dealership, like a dealer's contract with the wholesaler. These people are categorized as independent consultants. So they have actually no affiliation with the company. So if LuLaRoe decides that they don't want you to sell their leggings anymore and you have $8,000 worth of leggings in your garage and they tell you to stop selling, you can't do anything about it. You just have to stop and you're stuck with all that stock. And you have no choices over products. You have no choices over anything. You just get what you get and you don't throw a fit basically. And kind of, they say it's legal, but it's really, I don't know. It's really sketchy. It's a business model that's not sustainable.
Sketchy.
People don't understand it. I'll just talk a little bit about it and then we'll shut up about it. But like 99% of people that go into MLMs either lose money or break even or make like $1. So if you look at earning statements from these companies, they'll tell you that if you get in super early on the ground floor and you're really good at like marketing basically and signing people up and growing your team, then yes, you can do well, but it has to be a sustained performance or you're not going to continue to get those bonuses and things that they want you to do. So you just have to be on 24/7. And they love to try to zero in on like housewives, things like that. Because they use it like, oh, here's this new group of friends that are going to be totally supportive of you. Well, tell them you don't want to sell Rodan and Fields anymore and see how quickly they turn on you and they don't want to be your friends anymore. So they're on your friends on this contingency kind of thing. And you're better off either going to work a job for $15 an hour at McDonald's because at least you're guaranteed a wage, or starting your own business because none of these multi-level marketing products are any better than anything you find at the store. So yeah, I'll shut up about it now because I can keep going.
I'm all about that shit
too.
I've had friends who like are high up in Arbonne and all that shit, and they're like, I was like, oh yeah, you're a fake ass bitch. That's why you're good at selling it. Or like, like or having friends where like they're fake friends. I had people who like I went to one of the parties or whatever, and then they call you like, hey, you want to hang out? And I'm like, I know exactly why you want to hang out with me. Like you're obvious like it's so fake at that point, and it's like real estate is a MLM enough, and that's like I'm not even on like I'm not even in it that much. Like, it's so crazy.
Well, I mean, it's destroyed lives. I mean, people have lost their houses over it. They tell you to get a separate credit card that your husband doesn't know about to buy your starter kit or to buy more product and then they push this, if you're not selling, it's your fault. Well, it's an unsustainable business model because why would I ever sign anybody up to be my direct competitor? in the same market. It doesn't make any sense. Like, why would I sign Emily up to sell Rockabilly kids clothes? That's just really fucking stupid. And so I don't understand why people don't get this. It's like, you can only have so many people that sell leggings in a town before everybody's selling and nobody's buying. And so that's where it comes down to the pyramid scheme thing, is if depending on where their money comes from. So if they make more money from recruitment and starter kits and sales from other consultants, whatever, that's where it's considered a pyramid scheme versus the amount of money you make selling directly to the public, to private buyers, things like that. And the majority of these companies, that's where they make their money, is signing people up and selling to each other. And so, yeah, they all are. They're such a scam. Please don't do them. Save yourself. No, that one you want to sign up for, it's not any different than the other ones. Don't let them brainwash you. They use cult brainwashing techniques to get you to sell their bullshit products. Fucking stop it.
It's true. I had my 30th birthday in Vegas at the MGM, and there was a Arbonne conference going on. Those bitches were crazy. They were all wearing the same shirts, and they were like, like, it was creepy as hell almost. Yeah, like it was. They were all in line, and like, God, I was like, oh my God, y'all are like crazy. I don't know. Emily, do you sell your stuff at retail?
I do. I'm in a few different retail locations. I also have my stuff up online. I'm really like just getting started launching the brand. So I've only like really started selling stuff since like, what month is it? Maybe like August, September. So it's only been like a couple months, but yeah.
Good.
I've been doing
back to pyramid schemes. I remember even a couple of years. Oh, go ahead. We can talk shit on that all day.
What if I was like, actually, you guys, like, I'm like really high up in like Arbonne or whatever the fuck.
I wouldn't judge. I mean, the higher up people, if you're higher up, then you're like, you're whatever. Like,
yeah, but then you have to.
Went to Bible camp with, made like 6 figures.
Yeah, but my problem with that is you're selling the lie to other people, and to me that compromises. Like you have to have pretty shitty ethics to know that chances are this person isn't going to make any money, and these people do. They know that. I mean, when you're that high up, you know, and so it's skeezy. I can't.
I was just talking about this the other day with someone, that there's like kind of a similar culture in like the spiritual community of like people that are like coaches and like life coaches and stuff like that. But like their whole business model is like selling this lifestyle of like, I'm so successful, I make all this money, I manifest, I do all these things. But really they're just like getting people to sign up for their shit to give them money. And that it's like, it's this literally the same formula of like preying on people in their weakest moments, like open this credit card, like this is about you, like creating your dream life and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it's the same predatory behavior, and it's like all just a bunch of bullshit and lies. Like, I hate that stuff.
I hate it too. Even like, I'm like a bad realtor because I'm not even a realtor, a real estate agent, because I never tell anybody. I've like, mentioned it here, obviously, but like, I don't tell my friends. Like, who wants the fucking pushy friend who's going to be like, if you sell your house, call me, blah, blah, blah. But what's funny is then they have coaching for real estate agents too, where like you pay these people to coach you, and it's just like the same shit where it's just money. It's just this promise they're selling you. Oh, let me coach you. And I'm like, hey, you're going to coach me and tell me to cold call people, and I ain't fucking cold calling people. So I ain't going to pay you to tell me what I'm not going to do anyways. So like, it's the same shit.
I got a job where I had to cold call people. I lasted a week. I was like, I can't do this shit. I can't bother people. Like,
it violates the NAP. You know? It violates the NAP.
It does. No, I don't want your fucking car warranty. Leave me alone. It's just obnoxious.
Like, it's a numbers game. Like it does pan out for people if they do the like numbers, you know, and do enough of it. But I'm like, but I'm not like, I don't even like answering my door when people come to my door. So I'm not gonna do that shit, you know, like.
Well, I wonder how they fared during the lockdowns and stuff, because I'm assuming that these MLM parties weren't, because there's some that they really push the parties, like
They'll
like
do it virtually.
I think
They'll do
passion
that
parties
too
is still a
virtually.
thing. That's gross.
Oh yeah, passion
Stop
party,
it.
the dildo parties.
Yeah, here, spend 3 times as much for a glass dildo that you can get on Amazon for $20. Have fun with it. And then pay shipping too.
Those are the best because it's always like women who show up to it who are just like, they're like, oh my God. Like they're just so like scandalized a little bit where they're like, oh my God, we're doing something bad. Like,
Like my Aunt Amy does not need to see what kind of vibrator I buy. I'm sorry, that's not information that she needs. We're not going to talk about it at Christmas. Fucking keep that shit to yourself or your friends. Like it's not. Like I will admit, I did get, before I studied a lot about MLMs, I did get sucked into one for about a week until it took me a week, just like with the lockdowns and stuff, 15 days. No, fuck you. It took me a week to figure out that it's all bullshit. And it was actually because I used to make jewelry too. So it was like a jewelry making.
Premier? Was it Premier Jewelry?
No. This was called Bead Retreat. It was a jewelry making one. And I don't know how they got my info, I guess because I had a subscription to like Bead Style magazine or something, because I used to do a lot of beading. And it was you teach these people how to make it, like, so everybody buys a kit or whatever. And so you have this party and they buy their kits, and then you teach them how to make whatever was in the kit. And then they can order their own tools. They can order other kits so they can do it on their own, whatever. And I tried to get people, they were like, this is your first task, is to sign 5 people up for different parties. I got 1 in a week. And I was like, I really hate asking my friends and family to do this, because it's not something that they're interested in, and I was like, no. I did keep a couple of the tools because the tools were pretty decent. I actually have them right here. But other than that, I sent everything back. Thankfully, I got a pretty decent refund. But people don't realize the costs that go into these either. If you have to pay to work, then it's not a real job. You're paying to work. Think about it. You're not going to turn that $1,000 starter kit into $30,000 in a year. Chances are it's not going to happen. You're better off going to Vegas and betting it all on 15 black, if that's real. I don't know if that's a real number.
Or spending it on hookers and blow. You'll have more fun that way. Oh, someone
For me, it's
said,
Diet Pepsi and weed.
Aunt Amy seems like a nice lady. It was in the chat.
My Aunt Amy is really awesome, actually.
Terribly, how do I put the chat? So I'm going to ask a technical question. Hopefully he answers. How do I put the chat so it shows up on like, it shows up? You know what I'm talking about? Anyways, he'll answer it. Hopefully. Go on. Well, there's a way to make it so the like chats will like pop up on the screen so then you guys could see it too. But
Emily, you don't really sell Arbonne, do you?
No. Oh my God.
Oh, thank God. I was going to tell you to get out.
No. I actually,
you're stuck in an MLM. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I also do freelance photography, and I met this model once on a shoot, and she was like this super cute girl, and we kind of like kept in touch, and she would text me here and there and whatever. And we would have like these little conversations, and she was a little cutie. And one day she was like, would you want to like FaceTime or something? And I was like, yeah, why not? Like, we can do that. And so then we set up like a time to have our FaceTime. And then the day before we were going to have our phone call, she's like, hey, so like, I just wanted to let you know, I invited my friend to our call. And I was like, why? Why did you invite your friend to our call? Like, that's so fucking weird. And then it like dawned on me. I was like, oh no, I know what's about to happen here. They
it's
like
get
that
friend from high.
Well, they like get me on this call, and of course they're like trying to sell me whatever, their whole lifestyle of how they've changed their life, and she drives a Mercedes now and blah 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 whatever. And then they're like, why don't you tell us a little bit like about yourself? And I'm like, I'm really busy. Like I have a lot of things going on. Time to
What are
do
your
whatever.
dreams? What are your goals? We can make that happen for you. Just
was
sell
like,
our skincare.
I wonder if I wonder if a lot of Liberty people have a hard time with that kind of stuff where we're like, we don't want to sell to our friends. But I mean, I know some people who do, but I wonder if it's like where we don't want to impose on people anyways. So like that kind of shit's just not it's just not for us.
Well, it's very collectivist
Try to
too.
sell.
Isn't it? It's like very like kind of like we're in this club or whatever. Like,
Stuffy.
oh my gosh, my boo. Hi, Sophie.
Hi, Stuffy. But I know he sims for you two way more than he sims for me. So
We all simp for you. We simp for you and your soup. And now I know. Now, I mean, I know you posted a picture before, but now I like know what you look like. So, and I can totally get the like rockabilly vibes. So I'm like, okay, I know
during
what's
the
up.
winter though, it's all beanie. That's
Isn't
all it
it
is in the
funny
winter.
Like, isn't it funny that there's certain people who like don't ever show their picture, like they're totally anonymous, but like in my head, I have like a persona for them. You know what I mean? Oh my God.
Yeah, you're like I'll see pictures of people. Like sometimes I'll convince somebody to DM me a picture of them. I'm like, I promise I'll delete it and I won't tell anybody, but I want to see what you look like. And I'm like, you don't look like I thought what you look like, but I have to try to say it the nice way. And it's like, it's not that you're ugly. I'm just disappointed that you don't look like what I thought you looked like.
I feel like I can tell if a guy has like hot energy. You know what I mean?
It ain't Sophie.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sophie. I love you.
And even if they're like not necessarily like super physical, the energy helps sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
If they have high energy, you know, you can work with that. We can work with that for
I like
sure.
a guy that can make me laugh. That's a big one.
Oh yeah.
That's a big one. And you know, it has to be taller than me because I'm like 5'8". So
Really?
you know, these short girls need to quit taking all of our men, our tall men. Stick with the short guys.
I'm
Yeah,
5'8"
yeah.
too, but I don't have like a weird thing really about height. Like I wouldn't want to be with someone that was like super, super short, but like I'm good with someone that's like still in my like height range. I'm not like
I'm a
crazy
big
about
girl.
guy.
Like I'm a sturdy built woman. I guess I'll say that. Like I'm not, but I'm a very sturdy woman. I have very great bone density, I guess. And so I'm like, I needed a taller, bigger dude to make me feel tiny and ladylike, because if not, I feel like a fucking wildebeest running around. And I'm like, no, I need somebody that makes me look smaller. So,
I get that. I like if they're like 5, because I'm almost 5'8". I'm not quite 5'8". I'm like 5'7" and like a half.
Why are we
Like if they're 5'6", whatever, that's fine. I know we are. I should have straightened my hair.
We're literally like long lost twins somehow, I feel like.
I know. You're way prettier.
sometimes
though.
when
You're
you
so
do
much
look like
prettier.
sisters.
We do.
Oh, do we? How old are you,
little bit.
Emily?
Oh God, you're gonna put me on blast like that?
I'm probably older than you.
I'm
so
almost
okay.
38. I'm almost 38. So
I'm 36.
I'm
Okay,
36
yeah, we can be
also.
sisters. Oh, so I'm the old bitch. I'm the old bitch.
You are,
here
yeah.
tonight. I'm fine
I'm
with
not-
it. I'm fine
I'm
with
36, but I have the
whatever.
body of a 70-year-old. So we'll just say that. Like, I'm all broken down to shit. Like I hobble around everywhere. It's terrible. I'm like, oh, my rheumatism.
Well, yeah,
I just can't today.
Yeah, you said you had like autoimmune stuff. Is that what it like? Just
I
like
do.
inflammation?
Unspecified. It switches all the time. It's sometimes, and I have scoliosis too. I actually used to be like 5'9.5". And because of my scoliosis that I got as an adult, which I didn't even know I had, like I'm 5'8" now. I shrunk. So
I need to
So
get
I
back
just
into my
sit
yoga
here-
studio so I can get back to 5'8".
I just sit here breaking down. I want to go back to roller skating. I used to do roller derby. I loved it.
Oh, nice.
And after I quit derby, I would just go skating every weekend because it's great cardio. And ever since I hurt my foot, I haven't been able to go, and I'm a little afraid to go because I'm afraid I'm going to fall. And I'm like,
Yeah,
I
when
may
you
have to
get
use
back
a
into
walker.
it, it's like,
Yeah, I look like a baby giraffe, like trying to walk for the first time because I'm like, I don't have my muscle memory back yet. I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Because it's true. If you don't use it, you lose it.
it's true.
Aw.
Who's that? Benjamin. That's not Dusty. I'm not calling somebody out, am I? Sorry.
No.
Oh,
your
thanks.
friend Benjamin. I forget.
You
Benjamin,
guys
what's your Twitter handle? I forget what his Twitter handle is.
I don't know. Well, follow me anyway. I'll probably, because I'm following everybody
Especially for
right now.
we were talking last night. Last night I had Blaze Lobetarian on, and we were like talking about your slow-mo soup. We're like, oh yeah, that was so hot. Like all the
I
slow-mo
should have
soup.
watched
There
it.
was like 10 of them. It was so good.
I lost all of it, all of my soup threads. Now that my account is gone,
Oh, yeah,
I
let's
lost
talk
them
about this.
all.
You got banned. Did they even tell you what happened?
Nope, not a clue. And I have this because I know there's this at least one group of, I don't know, lefties, commies, whatever, what the fuck ever, assholes, that they go around, and I've seen their pages, their Twitter pages, and it's like their whole purpose in life is to get Liberty accounts banned. So I'm assuming what happened was they happened to find my account and just like mass reported a bunch of my tweets because I didn't get a reason at all. It was just like I woke up, what was it, Sunday morning or whatever, and they were like, nope, sorry, you're permanently suspended.
And will they let you appeal it at all or anything?
I tried, but I'm not banking on it because I know there's people that have been
Yeah,
appealing for months and
for-
have never gotten
it didn't work
anywhere,
for
and
me.
they've got way more pull than I do.
Didn't work
So-
for me. Maybe that's what happened
need
to
to
me
quit
too.
shitting
Is
on
it just got reported. Like maybe it was the same. Like the fuck, like whatever. Force Mommy still lives on, so I'm just sad because all the media I posted and stuff, like it's all gone now. I should have been downloading everything I put. Now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna download everything now. So.
I know. I told myself, I was like, oh yeah, I'll back up my account or something and download everything, and I never got around to it because I'm fucking lazy. And now it's all gone. I still have the slow-mo soup videos. So I will do another thread
That's
of slow-mo
good.
soup
On your
videos
phone.
for you fucking freaks out there. Because I know how y'all like that. But yeah, I'm doing cheddar beer tomorrow. Cheddar beer soup. So
I voted for that
have
one. I voted for that one.
Did you? Emily, did you vote?
Yeah, that was my vote.
What were the options again?
I had Italian wedding, split pea with ham and bacon, and cheddar beer.
I did vote, but I don't remember what I voted for.
For some reason, it's always the new ones I post. I'm like, I have all this ham in the freezer because I'm ready. Thanks, Steffi. I've been wanting to make split pea with ham and bacon because I have all this ham in the freezer that I've been saving, but I just haven't. Nobody's voted for it. But eventually, I will run out of soups to make. I did actually get tips on my other account. Like nobody gave me any, but I was like I'm like, please tip me so I can make like lobster bisque or something because I can't afford it. I live in Kansas. Our lobster sucks. I have to get good lobster. And I've always wanted to make lobster bisque and I haven't had a chance to. So, plus I'm a poor. So.
I'm technically a poor. I just have a man.
Yeah, I do too. I would be definitely. I'd probably live in my car, but he owns that too. So
I was poor all my 20s, and then that all went away when I found a man. I was like, oh, okay, I get how this works now. Why was I being a strong, independent woman? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I used to be that way. Like it was me. Like it used to be. It was my apartment. I was the one with the job. Like, and now it's like, help me, I'm a dainty lady. I can't do anything for myself.
That's how I feel now. I'm like, I'm sick of doing this all by myself. Like, someone fucking come rescue me already. Like, I'm over it.
Live was a mistake.
In LA.
Live was a mistake. We could all be happy. Like, our whole purpose in life was to find a sugar daddy and raise children and stay home all day. Like, why did we fuck that up? Seriously, why did we fuck it up? Like we have.
I'm fine staying home and being the auntie, but yeah, basically, everybody's just happier in this setup. They're just happier.
It does seem to be. I don't know. It seems to be better for the kids too. Like I remember, my mom was never home, but she still had to do. All the stay-at-home mom stuff, but then she had to add at least 40 hours of work on top of it. And it's like, I don't know where they started this lie that women, you can have it all. You can have the career and you can have the family. Yeah, but something suffers. Something's going to give. And it is extremely draining to work full time and be a parent because it's,
Fuck,
I don't recommend it. If you can,
I don't work full time and I'm not a parent.
If you have the means, I highly recommend not working.
But it was also part of like the plan, not only to like collect taxes, like double income taxes from people, but also to like indoctrinate children. It's like if your children are in school, in daycare, like from 8 in the morning until 6 p.m. at night every single day, it's like, who's raising your kids? The fucking government is raising your kids. And like, look at this. It's like generations of children that have been educated like and indoctrinated by the system are now the ones that are like driving what's happening like forward.
That's true.
I'd like to think that I helped combat that a little bit. I used to run a before and after school program, and my kids left a little more based than they came in. So that I figured that was doing my part, by teaching the kids to
the good indoctrination,
disrespect authority.
Well, I feel a lot of the boomer women, because the boomers were successful, and then I feel like a lot of the boomer women who were stay-at-home moms, they went back to work. I know my mom went back to work when I was like in elementary school and stuff. So like, yeah, there was like that started happening, and then I feel like once that started happening, that's especially when the college push came along. We're like, oh no, everybody has to go to college, like. Yeah, this woman like raised a fucking family, but she needs a college degree to have a job if she wants a job. Like really, we're pushing that stuff for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, someone's telling me to go pack a bag. We're not evacuating that. I haven't evacuated order. I'm not evacuating, bitches.
Evacuate my ass. Wait a minute. Oh my God, that didn't sound right.
That's what we want to happen every morning.
That's a morning thing.
I have bags packed. We're ready to go. Mr. Forrest Mommy was all like freaking out earlier and got everything packed up. So we're good. But I think we'll be fine.
I will admit though, I get extremely upset if I have a post-shower shit. Just FYI. Like,
oh my God.
It's very disappointing. You're all clean and then really? Like
it's just it's easier to just get it.
Like you might as well just get it done
beforehand.
Yeah, it's that feeling of total clean. It's nice. Well, they've been shoving women's hygiene down our throats for decades. And if it doesn't smell like a rose garden or something, then you're disgusting and filthy. And I'm like, I'm just wondering how people did things and because I watch like the Tudors, I'm sure you guys have both maybe seen it, but it's like shit that I'm like, she hasn't showered for like a month, right? Like I guess people were like super nose blind back then or something because there's no way.
Everybody stunk back then. Everybody smelled like shit. They're probably just like, eh.
Yeah, they never had the luxury of a pre-shower shit. So
maybe if they were rich, they could have like a shit before their bath that would be drawn before the fire,
yes.
Maybe.
It does sound luxurious as fuck though. I want like a big tub with like a fire next to it. That'd be amazing.
That would be great. That would be so great.
I want that fireplace from White Christmas. That big round one with the copper. You know what I'm talking about? That's in. I have my future house drawn up, and that is in there. I have a conversation pit designed in there with that fireplace in it.
That's like the one thing missing from my house is that I don't have a fireplace. That's the one thing I wish I had.
We have a wood stove in the shed.
Too.
Toasty King.
that was like the best thing I think that happened to me this year was that I like moved into probably like the cutest place. It's like the house of my dreams that I've been looking for a long time. And so that was a positive thing that came
And
about.
it didn't get bought out.
No.
It didn't get bought out from underneath you by BlackRock, so because apparently
That
that's been a
shit's
big
crazy.
issue this year.
It's crazy. I was researching it here in Colorado because they have a bunch of different names that actually own the houses under and stuff. And I was like, in just like 5 minutes, I found 3,000 houses that they own in like the Denver metro area. Like, it's crazy. And as long as I've been in real estate, is like people who actually want to buy and they just put their foot in the door have had such a hard time because you're competing against these bigger companies. And yeah, it's just crazy.
I mean, I've heard from several people on Twitter that they lost their house that they were about ready to sign on because somebody came in and,
Bid higher.
paid 25% over in cash. So they went, oh, look, money. And, did that and I think that's going to be a huge issue in the future because they're just going to keep going once people, the more people start losing jobs and they have to sell their houses. So it's,
And you
I
want
wish I
the
had
most
property.
money, so whoever's the highest bidder.
Yeah, if you don't have money, you got to take what you can. So you can't fault these people for it, really, but it fucking sucks. But on a lighter note, Emily, I'm glad you found your forever home, or at least one you really love.
I don't know if
Not
it's
necessarily
my
forever,
home, but
one you really love. I'm glad you found one you really love.
Yeah, it's been good.
I like our little.
And you have it decorated so cute.
Oh, thanks.
You have a ranch plan. Ranch plan houses are the best. Like that's the smartest way to live is a ranch plan home on one level.
It's one of those little tiny. You know how they have those little subdivisions of like the little ranches and the split levels. That's what I live in, and I just have a ranch, and it's small. Like one of our bedrooms is like 8 feet by 9 feet. It's like ridiculously tiny, and we have a 1/4 acre, and that's it. But I fit chickens on it. I have a garden. We have a shed with a wood stove, so that's nice. So if we do have a power issue, we can always go to the shed and just camp out there and stay warm, and we can cook on it. So that's good. But
so you're from
Kansas,
like you've always been in Kansas?
Born and raised. Yep.
Nice.
I'm originally from Topeka, which is the capital city of Kansas, if people don't know. I lived there for 24 years until I got married and bought a house. But we bought at the very bottom of our budget because we wanted toys. So that's where the small house comes in, because I didn't have a job then either. I had just lost my job like the day before we signed on our house. So that was fun.
That's okay. Back in the day, women's, if they made money, it wasn't even counted on the mortgage. Like they didn't used to even count it because it was like
if only
most women did it, and then they're like, well, because I remember my mother. My mom would always like, she's such a boomer. I love her. She's like, well, when we got married and we bought our first house, and I did work those 2 years before I stopped working. Like they didn't even count the money I made on our mortgage. They wouldn't even put it on there. Like it was like, oh, okay.
It's like because they knew that you were going to quit and raise a family. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's like there was probably a reason for that at that point, honey. But she's so cute. Are you guys' relationships with your families all right? Good. Emily,
I'll let you take this, Emily.
I mean, it's been tough. Like this past through everything that's happened. Like my mom and my sister are like as far left, like psychotic as they come, like totally on the bandwagon. There's no talking them out of it. They're just like completely on the train. So that's been like kind of tough with them. And then my dad has always been like a Republican, but not like a cop lover, like Republican, just kind of like a, like he's always had, like he's always kind of been like a rebel and had a distaste for the government, but would never go so far to like not be like a statist or whatever. So to him, it's like the logical choice is like being a Republican. So like me and my dad can have conversations about this stuff, and we have always like connected and had like good conversations about things. And then like through the whole pandemic and everything, like he and I were like talking about how it's all bullshit and whatever. And then the vaccines came out and he ended up like getting the vaccine. And I was like, why are you doing that? Like, you know, like we've just been talking this whole time about how bullshit this is. And like, basically he was like, if my doctor like says I should do it, then like I'm going to listen to my doctor. And like, he ended up getting the vaccine, and I made a joke comment to him saying like, you better not turn into a Democrat on me after you get your vaccine. And like, he kind of did. Like, he didn't turn into a Democrat, but like, he kind of is like on the COVID train now since then, and like has gotten the booster, and his health has like completely deteriorated since the time he got the vaccine. He's had a heart condition. He's had pancreatic cancer. He's had surgery. He's had all of these things. And it's like this all just like basically snowballed after getting the vaccine. And like his health has just like completely gone down the toilet. My mom has gone crazy because now she thinks that like I'm like the unvaccinated is going to like kill my dad. And like, it's a mess. And like, I'm just like, I can't, you guys have lost it. Like to me, like they've lost their minds. Like, you know, and it's sad to watch. It's like really heartbreaking. I almost like didn't spend Christmas with them because they were being like so psychotic about it. And I just like, I don't know, it's hard. It's like, I love my family. I've always been really close with my family. And so it's weird to kind of just be like, I can't even connect with you guys right now, you know?
Yeah, it is
We've
crazy.
seen a lot of
It's
that.
like they're doubling down.
Yeah.
Go on.
Well, and it's hard. I mean, how do you reconcile that? You know what I mean? Like, you have this group of people that, even though they're your friends and your family, like they hate you basically.
Yeah.
Not saying that your family hates you, but
No, I know
it's kind of that mentality. I mean, and people you've known forever, and it's like it's almost like they want to see you die because you didn't go along with it. So it's like you deserve everything that happens to you because you didn't want to believe the narrative or something.
I told my dad.
I don't know what you can do.
I told my dad the other day, I was like, one of my biggest regrets that I will regret for the rest of my life is that I didn't just lie to my family and tell them that I got it. If I had just lied to them, we would be in no different of a situation. I'm still not sick. I haven't been sick in 2 fucking years. But like, can you guys see me still?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was
mm-hmm.
like, I cut
On
out.
the edge, but you're there.
But you can't see me shake my head. Yes, I'm shaking my head.
But like, if I had just lied to them, then we would have no issue. They wouldn't be like on my case. They wouldn't be judging me, whatever. But like, it's that, and that to me is like the hypocrisy of it. It's like, you think that I'm like this sick person because I don't want to get some like questionable pharmaceutical drugs injected into me when like I'm literally the healthiest person in my family. It's insane to me. And if I had just lied to them, it would have been fine. Yet, like, it would have been no different than the situation that we're in now. Like, that's like the point that I'm making. It's just like the hypocrisy of it is just astounding.
But would you have felt guilty about lying to them?
No,
Maybe
at
not?
this point, no,
Okay.
I wouldn't. Because I know that like I'm not some disease carrying vector. Like I'm not like gonna like spread this like deadly disease to the protected, like vaccinated. It's like, it's all bullshit. And so like, no, I wouldn't have felt bad lying to them. The only reason I didn't lie to them is because when this whole thing started, I had already kind of like dug the hole of being like, fuck this shit. So it was like, I couldn't then turn around and be like, oh, like I ran out and I got the vaccine, because they would have been like, really? Like,
You
why?
convinced me. You made me a believer. Like, thank you, vaccine gods. Hail Fauci. Let's do this. You know, it's
I have suddenly changed my mind. Like, I've just
Yeah.
been this person, like, basically my whole life, but now I'm suddenly, like, getting with the program. They wouldn't have bought it, I don't think.
I had to beg my dad not to take it. He was going to, and I was like, please don't. I have a really bad feeling about it. I said, please don't. And he didn't. And both of my parents actually have COVID right now. Neither one of them were vaccinated. They both got pre-existing conditions, but they had an ivermectin prescription that they got months ago in preparation for this, and they're doing totally fine. They took their rounds, they're up and moving around again. They had, first it started out with a headache, and then they had a low-grade fever for about a week, and they were just like super tired. But I was like, if you're going to get any COVID, this is the one to get, because nobody's dying. Sorry, I tried to say that when I can't, because I don't want to get so.
Every single person I know that's getting sick right now is vaccinated. Every single person, without question. I don't know. And I kind of am like of the camp where like, I don't even know if I believe that it's like a real disease. The further along we go down this, I'm like, it's the fucking flu. Like I don't know. I don't know if you want to open this like can of worms, but I don't know if I even like believe that it's like a real novel thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you hear these things. I don't know if they're true or not. People say, oh, well, it hasn't been isolated. They don't know how to do this. They haven't found this. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it is real. If it is, I think it's obviously run its course. My parents actually got it from people that were vaxxed and boosted. And because those are the only people that they were around for like a week and a half prior to them showing symptoms. And then their vaxxed friends were like they were calling my mom like COVID Carol. Like it was her fault that they got COVID. And then she caught it from them. I was like, what is wrong with these people? Like, and then there's so many crazy things. Like people that live 2 houses down from my parents, like the whole family is vaxxed, boosted, everything. The wife, her parents live with them. Well, so there's 6 people in the house, parents, grandparents, parents, and 2 kids. 4 of them have already had COVID at least once, and they've all been vaxxed and boosted. Now the other 2 have it, but the rest of everybody, they're wearing masks in their own house. Like it's so fucking stupid. I don't understand it. I'm like, those don't work, right? And she's like, oh, I know. So it's like a fucking pacifier that these people are wearing on their faces because it makes them feel better. They know it doesn't work. Just like a binky. You ain't going to get milk out of it, but it makes you feel a little bit better. And that's the same shit that they're doing. And then my other crazy one was my son did like a Thanksgiving program, and the kid had to wear his mask the entire time during the program. The family didn't. But when they all went up on the risers to take a family photo, they all put their masks on for the picture. Then when they got off the risers, they took their masks off again. And I was like, that's just virtue signaling bullshit. Like, you're doing that just to show off. You don't give a fuck. Like, there are people like that. They are that fucking insane. Like the lady at the nail salon today, when I went to go get my nails filled, she was like, she had her mask on and she was taking selfies up here for some reason. I don't know what kind of angle that is, but she was like, look at me with my mask on. And when she was done taking her selfie, she took it off. I don't understand. They've lost their fucking minds. I don't think there's any saving them though. That's the unfortunate part, is I don't know how to reach these people, and I'm afraid we can't.
Part of the reason why I like don't want to be around my family that much anymore is because like they're doing their whole like vaccinated only like Christmas parties and vaccinated only this, that, and the other. But it's like, what if I come around and then my dad gets sick? Who are they going to blame? Even though I'm not the sick person, who are they going to, they're going to fucking blame me. And like, I don't want to be involved in that, Like,
yeah,
so I'd rather
definitely will be the scapegoat.
Yeah. And it's like, it's an energy, like the whole thing. I'm just like, I don't want to be around people that are like participating in this to this level,
Well, and it's hard to do that to your family and just say, I can't be around this because this is like some toxic ass shit that you guys are pushing right now. It's like, it's really hard to come to terms with that. I'm sure. Like, thankfully, the only people that are super crazy in my family, I don't like anyway. So I don't have a huge issue with it, but I don't know. I can't imagine being stuck in that position. And for everybody that is in that position, I'm very sorry that you have to go through that. But right now we got to take care of ourselves, unfortunately. I mean, because we're not going to change their minds.
Yeah.
So
It's true.
I hate to
do you
say we
guys
may have
do you
to
guys
cut these
want to
people
still
out
chat? I
temporarily.
have to go. I have to take a potty break. But are you guys still cool with chatting?
Yeah.
Keep going.
Okay.
I gotta
Give us
take
the
a potty break.
topic
So
to
you
discuss.
chat talk amongst yourselves.
I'll give
Right
you a
back.
topic. Rhode Island is neither a road nor an island. Discuss. Welcome back to Coffee Talk. I wish I had more jewelry and bigger hair. That's what I wish.
Yeah.
There, it would do the glasses thing. There we go. I got that. There. So how long have you been in your new house?
I moved here in June, so 6 months now.
Are you totally moved in, or you still got some boxes floating around?
Oh, I moved in quick. I move in and I unpack like the day that I move in. I like my stuff to be just like out and where I like it. But as far as like decorating and stuff, I've been kind of like taking my time because I want to get like specific pieces and art that I want and stuff. So I kind of like did the living room first, and now I'm doing like the dining room, kitchen area. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm the total opposite. I am a terribly messy person.
Really?
I like to say that my living area matches what's in my head. Like it's totally it's chaos in here, so it's chaos out there. And as much as I tried, like I don't know how many times I've taken each room and I've like completely organized it, cleaned it top to bottom, and then in a couple of months it's destroyed again. And I'm like, we're not dirty people, because it's like I keep up with laundry and dishes and things like that. I clean my bathroom. I'm not like a hoarder, but I got a lot of shit in a tiny house. Well, where else am I supposed to keep all these fucking leggings that I can't sell?
Oh my God.
I got dildos over here. I got leggings over here. I got fucking face cream, and I can't get rid of any of it.
I am slamming beers.
Come out all right?
Thanks.
All right.
Yes, we're all good.
Beers. She's like,
See,
now that we don't
someone's
have
like,
to, now that I know we don't have to evacuate, she's like, let's do it.
I mean, we might still, but whatever. I'll sober up if I need to. It's like I'm at like 70-ish and up down. Yeah, exactly. We're just going down the road anyways. It's all good. So,
can we call you by your name?
I think it's. Yeah, I mean, whatever. I don't care either way. At this point,
I didn't know how to address
real name, anyways.
But I have to tell you, we actually have a triplet out there. When I was in Mexico, yes, when I was in Mexico back in like 2018, I met this girl, and she looks exactly like us, and we like fell in love with each other, and that was when I realized that I'm like definitely some form of a narcissist, because I was like, this is the most beautiful woman I've ever met in my life.
I'd fuck me.
Yeah, like I get that. Like when I'm looking at porn, I'm like, obviously sometimes our bodies look kind of like mine. So I mean, obviously, whatever.
But we were like mutually obsessed with each other. I was like, at least this is like, I'm not alone in this.
I don't think I've ever seen a doppelganger of myself.
Really?
No. I'm telling you though, you sound just like Lauren Libert. Like you guys could like sound a little bit alike for real. You guys should meet in real life.
Maybe I've seen her at a show. I don't know. I mean, I see, at one show I see thousands of people every day. So
because she's probably about like 5'8". Are you busty? You pretty busty? Because she's very busty.
Not as much as I used to be, because I have mom boobs now, but So enjoy your perky tits, ladies. I'll take all the heat for that and my sad mom boobs. Thing.
But it's like whatever. Like that's why I don't want to ever get fake ones, just because like it just changes everything. I'm like, I'm fine with the little ones. That's fine.
I'd get them lifted. I would have no problem doing that.
Yeah,
getting
if
them
you're like, if
lifted.
you have big ones,
just put them back where
lifted
they
or-
go. Because they like
mine
to
don't go.
migrate.
Mine don't go anywhere.
You know, they're like old people. They go south. They continue to move further south.
Well, because they
And
like fill up. I mean,
you know,
they get even bigger when you have a kid, and then
Take
they
those babies
you
back
know.
up to Canada. You know, stay up there. And
I love it. Love it. Shit. We were talking about COVID, then we got on tits. COVID and then tits. That's all there is to talk about these days.
we can talk about guns. You guys want to talk about some guns?
Could talk
We
about
can do that.
guns. Could talk about guns. Anyone have a good gun they like right now?
I do. I was saying, that's why I said earlier, I was like, Gator needs his gat. Like, that's the code word for where's my gun at. And so I did. I brought my SIG out. Bob, go away.
Your Sig
today.
Sauer?
Yeah, it's my, let me make sure I'm not showing off my code there. It's my SIG 365. I love it. It fits my dainty lady hands because I have tiny fingers. And, well, I have short, stubby fingers anyway. And so it works really well. There's actually somebody
they can
on
pull the
Twitter today
trigger when you need.
Yes, yeah. Well, and I could shoot it one-handed. It's the first 9mm I've owned. And it was really smooth and it just fit perfect because I have my other EDC is a Walther 22, and which I also love, and I don't want to get rid of it because I know it's a 22. Shut the fuck up. But I love it, and it's like an extension of my arm. I trust it, and I know exactly where it's going when I point it. You know, when I aim it, I know exactly where everything's going, and so I love it, and it's about the same size. But I tried the Walther 9 and I wasn't a fan. It just did not fit my hand right. And I didn't want the stippling to be super rough because I don't want to hurt my dainty lady skin. So ladies, if you need a good one, SIG should sponsor me. But yeah, get the SIG P365X. I love it. And it's great. Try it out.
Nice. The next one I want to get is the Glock 43X. That's what I want my new everyday carry. Because it's a little one too. Like right now, I don't like carry it on me all the time, but I'll take it's a Glock 27, which is actually a 40 caliber, but it's little, like it's actually little. But then you like go to shoot and you're like, oh shit, like this is motherfucking 40 cal. So I need another little one like that. I like those 6 hours. Those are good. Wait, someone says
that was my Christmas present.
Oh, nice.
Yes,
I got an AED for my Christmas present.
You got an AED, like a?
Yeah, because I'm scared for your hearts for like.
Yeah.
A defibrillator.
Okay. Yeah,
because I'm like I've been stocking up on yeah, really. My before was a fireman for 16 years, by the way. But oh no, you're fine. You're fine. Jesus Christ! Someone else.
Like I did get
that person that
I got a suture kit and some scalpels and like a field surgical manual just in case I need to do anything. Like I have enough anatomy knowledge that I could probably figure out basic shit. You know, and stitch up stitches, things like that. I've been trying to collect antibiotics and stuff, but it's a little hard to do. I'd really love to get my hands on some lidocaine, but that ain't happening. So. You know, just numb people out.
I know, right? Well, we can get our hands on the like cocaine. We can get that stuff, so. Yeah, it's just like we have to build up our like
your hands on coke.
You guys are like so prepared for like apocalypse scenarios. I'm like, if something goes down, I'm ready to like just be taken out. I don't need to be like
a laissez-faire attitude, is it? In Kansas, we're like, fuck you. We're going to keep our wheat fields. Bring it.
Hell yeah. I'm just worried about getting hurt and stuff if they're not going to let us into the hospital. Like, or they're like, oh, if they show up, if you're hurt, and they're like, well, you're not vaccinated, so we can't do anything for you, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah. I don't know. I don't care. And I used to do a lot of volunteering on like hiking trails. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I've been to the doctor a lot the past year and a half, and I quit going. And this sounds terrible, and people are going to hate me for this. I don't care. This is what I believe and feel now. I don't trust it anymore. You know, like we have a doctor in the family. I'm not going to say who it is because some people could probably figure out who I am. But they were told back in June of last year, their family practice, they were told to change a death certificate from a cardiac issue, I can't remember what exactly it was, to COVID death. And fuck, we're going to get yeeted, sorry. And they did it. And I lost a lot of respect. And so I think about how many doctors have been put in that position to do that, because we know it's a lot. So if they're willing to lie about this and compromise ethics and values, what else are they willing to lie and compromise on? And so I don't know. The medical community has a lot to do to create trust again, because you see all these people, they just go along with it. And why? Because you're worried about a paycheck? We're going to have
even my direct primary care doctor, who was outside of the system, I saw him in 2020 in the summer, and he was like, kind of thought everything was stupid. And then I went and saw him just a couple days ago, and like, he was starting to push it. And I was like, come on. First of all, he's hot. And I'm like, always excited to see him. And he wore a mask. Last year he didn't wear a mask. This year he wore a mask. And I was like, I want to see your fucking face, dude. I pay you $1,000 a year so I can like look at you. You're hot, And then he started pushing it a little bit, and he was like, well, I just don't want you to get this. I have another guy, and I just don't know how to make him better. And I'm like, first of all, I think I never tested, but I'm like 99.99% sure I had it. First of all, second of all, like, what? Like, he was always against me test. I was always like, I want to know my hormone levels and all this. So he's like, we don't need to test for stuff. More testing is just bad. And then he's pushing a vaccine on me that he doesn't even. I'm like, are you getting a kickback now too? Like, what the hell? Like, it's just so weird. But he's not kicking me out of like the club yet, so that's all good, I guess. But whatever. It is sad. It's like, if even those people who are outside of the system are losing our trust. Now, then what? I'll hire a motherfucker whose license is lapsed at this point. I don't care. Like,
yeah.
You got
kicked out of the AMA for speaking the truth about this shit. All right, here's my money. Kind of thing.
I trust you.
I don't know. I mean, that's the problem that we're at right now, is I think everybody is just too comfortable, and they're afraid of what life would be like. They're afraid to be made uncomfortable, because this isn't going to be easy to get out of this. We're all going to have to make sacrifices. Like I said, I was willing to lose my house over it. Now, thankfully, I have a camper to back it up. I have a place to sleep. But and I know some people don't have that, so I get it, but unless we're willing to sacrifice some shit, we're never going to get out of this. It's just going to get worse and worse, and then you're going to wish that we sacrificed a year ago. And yeah, I don't even know. I don't know where to go from here.
I don't even know how we are here. Like,
I'm being a downer again. Sorry.
No, that's okay. We're like positive downers. As long as we're like positive downers,
yeah,
it's all good.
But we're all gonna die. It'll be great.
Well, we're all probably the kind of people where we've all like went after our dreams a little bit, started businesses, started things we wanted to do, and I think it's a lot of people who've never done that are just so scared right now. Like, they've never sacrificed anything.
They're not risk takers.
No, I'm the biggest risk taker. I'm like, I love risky business, baby. That's been my life. That's why I've been short on it the last 2 years.
Kidding. I'm sorry, I don't have any STDs. I'm kidding. I'm very clean.
But I was thinking that the other day. I'd love to, because like some of the people that I lost friendships with are like kinky people and like did shit, and then they're all like, "Oh, we're scared now," And like even one girl I knew during the whole initial like shutdown, originally she was out fucking everybody off of FetLife and stuff. So, but then she like bought into everything and was like, "We should have just listened and did what they said." And I'm like, "Bitch, Yeah, well, what? Like, not that I judge that at all. Like, do that. Yeah, I'm totally down with it. But don't be all like, I'm perfect. And I'm like, no. But I wonder, like,
Motherfucker, you go ass to mouth. Stop it.
yeah, like, I'm like, I wonder, like, what the STI numbers are like right now. If they've, like, been, like, if the
I
STI
think
numbers
they've
have been
actually
just as
gone
much as
down
normal.
because nobody's having
People
sex
are having
anymore.
less. Yeah. Whatever.
Like you would
They're
think
like,
when we're all locked down, the birth rate would go up. But from what I understand, it really didn't go up at all.
oh,
So,
interesting.
but that's what happens when they tell people to stop having babies and that, you know, your life is unfulfilling if you have children, which isn't true. You know,
It's not
if
true.
you have a,
I'm not a kid
No.
person, but I'm like pro kid. I'm like, have the fucking kids if you want kids. Like, I'm totally pro it.
definitely.
It's creepy to tell
definitely.
people to not. Like, it's weird. Oh, divorce
Tell
rates
people
went
to
up.
have kids. Like, I didn't want to have a kid for a long time, and people are like, "Well, what's the point to being married if you don't have a kid?" And I was like, "What? That has nothing to do with
Like, get money,
with it.
duh. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
yeah, right.
No.
I got good insurance now, bitch. Bring it. Like, take more risk because I got full coverage. Like, it doesn't. I don't know. It's never a right time to have a kid. I don't know. I don't know. Right now it's scary. I know there's a lot of people that are afraid of having children just because of where we are right now. If you're waiting, it's not going to be any easier a few years down the road either. So I don't know. You just got to be prepared. Pack a bug out bag for your baby. Figure it out. You know, people traveled all over this country. They walked everywhere, you know, through all kinds of weather.
Yeah,
with
they
kids,
rode
you
in
know,
fucking like covered wagons.
covered
back in
wagons.
the day
Yeah, if
and
my
died of
pioneer ancestors
dysentery
could do
and
this shit, we can do this shit. Like, that's what I've said. I'm like, we need to return to prairie and start being more comfortable and happier with having less. And I know it sounds like a leftist thing, like learn to live with less. But yeah, we do need to do that. We need to stop being so reliant, but it needs to be voluntary. It's not just oh, we don't have any milk this week because, you know, but it needs to be voluntary, but, you know, simplify, learn how to grow some shit yourself, you know, learn how to do stuff that doesn't require a subscription or something, you know, learn how to cook, do something to make yourself more self-sustainable and to help yourselves out. I mean, there's tons of resources online to do all this shit. So there's no excuse anymore, you know, so
That's
get ready.
true. Yeah, with them telling
It's
us
coming.
to have less, and it's like I never got into any debt because I didn't want to get in debt. Like, I've always lived the live less life. I have a lot of shoes, but like literally everything in this room, my closet room is like everything I own. That's mine. It's like I've always.
Are you
been
in your
about that.
closet?
But yeah, well, it's like a bedroom turned into my closet. Yeah, because we don't have kids, so that's what happens. It's my she cave or whatever. But yeah, like. But I've always been like, I don't need that. Like, I never got a credit card when I was young because I didn't want the debt, and B, it's like, I don't need all that. I don't need this. If I can't afford it, I don't need it kind of thing. But then when the World Economy Forum comes out and tells us not to own shit, then it's like, no. Like, your guys are creepy about it, but we do need to have that like less mindset for sure. Oh, here's a good
Well, it seems like the more we have so much stuff, but we're not any happier for it.
Mm-mm.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Ada. Yeah, we're not any happier for it. You know, we have all this technology to help us save time and to do shit for us, but why are we busier than ever now? You know what I mean? Like, we have things that wash our dishes. We have automatic robots that vacuum our fucking floors, but yet we don't have time to sit with our children and interact with them for 20 minutes a day.
And teach them
You know?
how to like wash dishes and
Yeah,
clean the bathroom.
teach them how to do shit. You know, yeah. Go out with your kids and show them how to catch a fucking fish. If you don't know how, go learn. It's not that hard. You don't need fancy equipment to do it. People have been catching fish for hundreds of years. Okay. That's the thing, is people think that they always need like all this, what do they call it, Gucci gear and stuff to hunt, to fish, to do any of this stuff. You don't. I used to catch fish with a stick and a piece of string with a hook tied on it. And I went on the bank and dug up with a stick. I dug up some worms, and that's how I would catch fish when I was a kid. It can be done.
Yeah.
You don't need money to do any of this.
I got a big largemouth bass in September with just like the like the little kid fishing pole, and it was like the biggest fish anyone caught at that time. And I was like, thank you very much. Like it was just like a worm on a fucking hook. Like it wasn't even anything. That's people do that with like biking too. I remember I would always see like road cyclists with all this expensive gear and shit, and you're like, I'm like, my bike I found in a dumpster and I made it better. So like, I don't know.
Yeah, you remember the shitty bikes we had as kids? We rode those things thousands of miles, you know, tearing them up like crazy, and they did perfectly fine. You know, you don't need an $8,000 bicycle to ride on concrete. Sorry, it doesn't. I mean, if you want to spend your money on that, fine. But if you're looking to find ways to do things and not spend so much, because we all know that our money's not worth near what it was, you know, you don't have to be fancy about it.
That's the thing, like name brand, like teaching kids to be into name brands. So I remember that growing up, like Abercrombie and Fitch. I'm because you guys are about the same age. Like Abercrombie and Fitch was like, if you didn't wear Abercrombie and Fitch, you were a fucking loser, you know. And it was like, my parents weren't buying that for me. Like I had fucking hand-me-downs like all the way through high school and stuff. And it was like, but then now as an adult, I'm like, I get it. I'm like, oh yeah, you don't. That makes sense. It teaches your kids like the important values in life.
I did have some kick-ass Jinkos though. I had a pair of the Jinko kangaroos with the fucking huge. How big were those? I don't even remember how massive those legs were.
Huge.
Yeah. I loved the.
I remember my mom wouldn't let me have any. My mom wouldn't let me have any Jinkos. A girl in the back who lived in like kind of the back of our neighborhood, she did have a pair, and I would like. She would bring them for me, and I would change into them at school. Oh, life is so funny back in like college or high school days, man.
I had the Doc Martens sandals too, but I couldn't afford them by myself, so I paid for half of them. So when I got in trouble, my mom would take away the shoe that she owned. I'm like, you are sick, woman. But that's what she did. She's like, well, this one's mine, so I can take it.
Like you get, especially as a parent now, like you kind of get it. Like I'm sure you're like, oh, I get this. Like
yeah,
the utility.
Like, you ungrateful little bastard. I'm taking all your Lego. I'm gonna go play with it.
It's too funny.
I love my kid though. He's awesome. He's kind of like a. I'm a little worried about him though, because he developed a stutter after they started masking him at school. He never had one, and now he has one. Yeah, so that's fun. And then I don't know, he kind of turned into one of those YouTube kids. You know what I'm talking about? Those kids that watch YouTube. So I'm a little worried about him, because it's like it's hard to get him outside and like do productive things. Like, hey, you need to go collect the eggs from the chickens today. We need to go collect all the burn stuff because we're lighting the burn pit off today, kind of thing. And it's
how old is he?
It's like pulling freaking teeth. He's 7. But it's like pulling teeth, and it's really difficult. And I'll just say a little bit here as a parent. I mean, I'm sure you guys can empathize a little bit, even though you're not. But it's very tricky to navigate right now when you have children, because, or you know, at least kids that are very close to you. But because you want to let your kids know what's happening, but you don't want to terrify them, you know, because kids don't need to know everything adults do. That's one of the good things about being a kid, is their innocence, and children are true innocence, and we need to do everything we can to protect them. Just throwing that out there. So don't be an asshole about it. Not you guys, but so I try to tell my kid a little bit, like, things aren't going to be super perfect for a while. Things are getting more expensive. Our money's not going to go as far as it did. We can't spend like we used to. You know, we used to be able to go to the store and I'd get a little trinket that was $5 or under or something. So it wasn't a huge deal, but it's like, that's the kind of stuff we have to start cutting out, because it adds up. You know, that's going to be our grocery bill, you know, in a few months. And it's, I don't know, it's very tricky to do. So it's like, you have to tell them just a little bit so they're prepared, but you can't tell them everything. And it's a tightrope, and it sounds like, I don't know. And
we don't know where it's going. Like, we don't know where it's going. But, no, you're doing great.
Yeah, but I mean, they want to know though. It's like, they want to know, why do we have to keep wearing these masks? Because either they think it's also stupid, like my kid, he's like, Biden's stupid. I'm like, yeah, good job, buddy. But like, because some of these kids are terrified. it's
I don't know any good
at
info.
Eat Band Steak. Thank you. That's where
She
I'm
did
at
get
right now. That's my new
suspended.
account. Yes, I did. All my other
We're all
social
bad
medias are
bitches
at
around
Susie
here.
Bartlow. Quite bad. But no, my new one is at Eat Band Steak because I got banned. So yeah, I stuck with the Eat Steak. I can't help it. Oh, I will show this to
That's good.
everybody
No, that
because
is
people
the.
don't think I do have a tattoo that says Eat Steak. So
Oh my
that's
gosh.
a real thing.
Oh, how funny.
That's where it comes from. Is I have a tattoo that says Eat Steak, and my son
Too
picked it out.
funny.
I let him pick out some of my tattoos because why not?
Oh my god.
No, it is so
I'm
hard
sorry,
with
Emily,
kids
I
right
just
now
went
because
crazy.
I have my niece. No, I love it. I love talking. My nieces and nephews, and I feel so bad for my two nieces right now because they're like literally going through like awkward puberty stage, and in my family, puberty is fucking awkward and terrible, and they're on top of like where they want to wear masks because they don't want to like break the rules. It's not really like. It's just such a hard thing, and now their acne is getting really bad, and like they're going through puberty, and it's just like everything is just so hard right now, and I'm like, damn, like it's just hard. But luckily, my sisters are doing a really good job and stuff. So I just the gender stuff that worries more than the COVID stuff half the time. Like, don't fucking talk to my nieces and nephews about their gender, but I think they'll be all right. My sisters are very involved, so it's all good.
Not even then. I mean, it's parents can be involved and still have no idea. I mean, think about the shit that we hid from our
It's
parents.
true.
Like
Yeah, I was
talk
wearing
to my mom all the
Jinkos.
Yeah.
yeah, and it's I don't know. It's tricky and I don't know. Emily, at the very least, you have a bug out bag. I'm switching tack here. Sorry.
I don't. What do I need to put in it? How do I do this?
You can find. I don't have any exact resources, but you can find lists for bug out bag stuff all day, every day, because I'm assuming you live like in the city. It may be a little bit different because I think a lot of your stuff will have to be involved you getting out of the city if it really does happen. So it just depends, I think, on where you are too. If you live in Florida, you don't need winter clothes.
But like, if what
To
happens?
pack.
Like, what am I preparing for?
How do I put this? The end of the world, I guess. The end of our world as we know it.
But like,
basically,
no
But-
electricity. That's what I think.
but I'm
Yeah,
serious
basically-
when I say like I'm not scared of dying. And so like if something was to happen, like I also have a commitment to like my community in a sense that like I am still going to show up like in a space of generosity. Like if I have to give and to share, like that's just the person that I'm going to be. I'm not going to like run and be like, this is my stuff and everybody get away from my stuff and I'm protecting my shit and I'm going to run and fuck everyone else. Like that's just not the kind of person that I am. And so if that means that like someone comes and shoots me and steals my stuff, then like, fine, that's the end of this game for me. Like that's the end of this round for me. Like I'm not like playing like Apocalypse Now. Like I'm just not. That's not what I came here to do in this lifetime. Like, and so maybe that's like a bad attitude to have, and maybe like someone will come along and come into my life that's like, no, we need to be better prepared or something. But like where I'm at right now, I'm just kind of like, I don't care. I don't know. I'm not gonna like run. It's just not who I am.
Well, if you're okay with that, that's fine. My whole thing is though, is people like, you can say that people are going to be a certain way and like, oh, that's not going to happen. But people are totally different when they're hungry and when their families are hungry. Like it turns people back into animals again, and they won't care who you are or what you do. If you have food and they're hungry and their family's hungry, they'll take you out. And so that's kind of, I mean, it's good to have yourself prepared so you can have the skills so you can be useful in those situations. So even if you don't necessarily, if you aren't fully, prepped, like there's some people that have years of food. I don't have that much. I have about 6 months. And then I have, all my other stuff that I grow and I raise, things like that. So I have about 6 months worth of dry goods. But making sure that, that you have skills to provide for, so you actually have something, you have something of value in a sense, I guess, to exchange. Not saying that you don't have value. I sound like an asshole. I'm not trying to sound like an asshole.
No, you
I'm
don't.
sorry. I just want everybody to survive that wants to survive. And if you don't want, that's fine. Like, I'm not afraid of dying, but I have to try my damnedest to stay alive for my kid. Honestly, he's the only reason I'm here right now, because I've had some shit years. And that I feel like, for some reason, I feel like my purpose now is to keep my son and my husband alive, because if my husband's gone, that's going to be really difficult, because he's my son's favorite. I'm mom, but so I feel like that's my whole purpose now, is to do everything I can to take care of those two guys, so he can continue taking care of our son and, teaching him how to grow up and be a man. It sounds so fucking anti-woke, whatever, but it's true. Like, it's okay for women to know how to do man shit, but it's also, you need women to be women and men to be men also. So I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. That's the
it's
most.
Like my
that's
brain.
like
It's just everywhere.
It's good. And I like this last 2 years, like I've had friends who are like, when were you alt-right? Just because I have now, I'm like, now there's things where I'm like, oh, I get why there's utility in these, in these things, like women, men, blah, blah, blah. And like, yeah, it's just funny. You say, oh, I'm anti-woke, but it's not, because obviously you would like whatever lifestyle someone wants to live, you'd be like, whatever. But I'm in my own lifestyle. This is what's important, and this is what we're going to do. And that's that. So,
can I ask, like, how did you guys? Thank you, Colton.
He's a firefighter in Alberta, or was. I don't know if he's still.
You're in Canada. It's too bad.
Poor guy. He's hating it up. Yeah, he's hating it. He's hating it.
Sorry. Well, I guess if I can ask a question, like, how did you guys get into kind of the liberty side of things? Like, you don't really hear a lot of origin stories, I guess. And I'm always kind of curious as to how people found their way into, I don't know, I guess liberty Twitter, for a lack of a better term. But
you can go first, Emily, if you want.
Well, I guess as far as like being anti-authoritarian, I've pretty much always been this way. Like, I remember even when I was a little kid and I first found out what taxes were, I was like, what do you mean I have to participate in this? Like, I don't understand that. And nobody could ever really give me a good answer. And it was actually something that kept coming up for me as like a point of interest of trying to understand why people create these systems that are oppressive. And I actually went to college and majored in political science because I wanted a deeper understanding of like these different kind of like systems that we've created throughout history and systems that are in existence now. And when I got out of college, I ended up meeting some people who thought similar to me, and we became pretty good friends. And they kind of introduced me to people like Dave Smith, Alex Jones, like some people that have been like excommunicated now, like Stefan Molyneux, like those kinds of people. But like, I kind of got interested into like listening more about like the theory and like all that kind of stuff. And then when COVID, I would like speak out a little bit on my Instagram about like being against the government and stuff. And I think that like for the most part, people would kind of like take it with a grain of salt, or it would like spur a little interest for them, but like it never like angered people. But then once the lockdown started and I really started speaking out against the lockdowns, because as soon as the government shut us down, that was the moment that we were fucked, because it's like there was no fucking reason for that. Like, people were not dropping dead in the streets. And it's like, we just rolled over and we're like, yeah, sure. Like, the government has the authority to just shut down our businesses and shut down the world when they say they want to. And that was the defining moment for me that I was like, this is fucked. Like, this is not good. And I started speaking out a lot about it. And I lost like over 5,000 followers on Instagram. I've lost friends, I've lost family members. And that was kind of how I made my way to Twitter, was because I was like, I need an outlet where, and at first on Twitter, I had like 100 followers and I was just talking into the void. And then it was like people kind of started gravitating towards me and I started making friends. And so that's kind of how I've ended up where I'm at now with that.
I'd say I'm
How about you,
somewhat
Forrest
similar
Money?
as like as a kid. I hated rules. I was raised very like conservative Christian, and I was like, I understood the utility of it and stuff, but I was like, I just didn't believe, blah blah blah. And then as soon as I could move out, I was like, no, I would rather be broke and be able to have sex than live under my parents' roof and like have to follow rules and shit. So that's how it started out. But I would say that I was doing the whole, because I remember my sisters are way older than me, and so they both like got married and dependent on men right away, and I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm the strong, independent woman. So I was definitely more like kind of left as far as that goes, but years went on, and I've always done my own thing. I never was as very political. I just always done my own thing. And then hold on, I have to ban a user. And then definitely at the beginning of COVID, everything got like stupid. I got doxxed right at the beginning of COVID too. And then I was like, so I got off of Facebook, and as soon as I got off of Facebook, I kind of realized, I was like, holy shit, they have people like under a control with their algorithm. It's not that like, it just feels different from Twitter. But like, I remember I used to think, oh, who is this Jordan Peterson guy? I'm supposed to hate him. Even though I was on Anarchist Liberty Twitter, which a friend of mine, who was that one I was talking about before, who was fucking everybody off of FetLife, she kind of got me involved with that on Facebook before I got to Twitter. But I remember like, and then I got off and I'm like, oh, they're telling people what to think about these people without like saying, you know what, you can agree with people on one thing and disagree with them on another, blah, blah, blah. And then the same thing, I got to Twitter, especially with COVID, and was like, this shit is fucked. Whatever the fuck is going on, this shit is fucked. And I'm going to scream. And I screamed and I yelled, like threw it all out there. And now it's been great, because I have actually like, I don't believe like totally that the Libertarian Party is going to do anything necessarily, but I've gotten involved locally, and I've met a shit ton of people locally, which has been really cool. So that's what's good. I think I'm pretty much the same as you, Emily. Where like in your heart, you're like, yeah, this shit's bullshit. And then now it's like, now we have to fucking fight. Like we have to like go after it. That's all. That's my story. But I've always lived kind of an anarchist relationship lifestyle all my life. So it's kind of how it is.
Same. I've always hated being told what to do.
Yeah, like don't fucking tell me what to do. Especially if I know I'm not hurting anyone. And if I'm not hurting anyone, there's no reason I should not be able to do this thing I want to do. Like,
Yeah.
It's that easy. Someone said they love, let's show this here. What about you, Susie? Did you kind of say your
Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't like authority either. I always hated, hi Bob, like working for other people. I always knew that I wanted to work for myself because I didn't like being told what to do. But my life has been, I don't know. I mean, I had some wild times, I guess, but to most people, it's probably fairly tame. But I guess I'm semi-trad in the sense that I got married fairly young. I got married at 24. We bought a house, kid, dog, that kind of thing. I stay at home. But I guess it's just, I never cared about politics at all. I didn't give a shit. It had nothing to do with me. I didn't care. I was just trying to live my life, work, make money, whatever. And I didn't really care to vote, but I did it anyway because it was my civic duty and it was what I was supposed to do. And all I knew was there were people that I didn't want in office. And that's really as far as I went with it. And I think a lot of people are that way because there's so much detail to all this that if you're trying to just live your life, it's really hard to absorb all of that and process it back out again and make sense of it all. But then I don't know, lockdown happened. I was like, I knew that I didn't want to have anything to do with it. And I really avoided it for 3 years, especially after Trump got elected, because they just wouldn't shut the fuck up about him. Like, shut the fuck up. Like 24/7, it was, oh, he got 2 scoops of ice cream. Shut the fuck up. Nobody cares. It's ice cream, you dumb bitches. And so I was just really tired of it, because no matter what he did, like, I don't know if he farted or something, it would have been global news in like 20 minutes. It doesn't make any sense to me. And so I just really tried to ignore it. And then we got, we kept going with the lockdowns and it didn't stop. And then I saw all these events for my business starting to get canceled. And I was like, well, there's $8,000 I'm not going to make this weekend, And so then the elections happened. And that's when I think I fully went, like, because I could technically, shush, Bobby. I technically always consider myself, I guess, a libertarian. What do they call it? A little L libertarian, because I never associated with any party. I never associated with the GOP either, because I don't like anybody. I'm loyal to no one but my husband. So I don't. Everybody's fallible. Everybody's going to screw up. So I don't understand why we hold people on pedestals, because they're human beings. Like, that's kind of in our nature to fuck stuff up. But I started, what's the word I want to use? Getting a little more aggressive about it, I guess. I started doing more prepping, being a bit more methodical about it, and planning it out better versus just having a couple of, 48-hour food buckets or whatever in the basement just in case we got stormed in or something. That was as far as I went, was like storm preparedness for 48 or 72 hours. And I realized that it was all going to shit. For some reason, I have this really uncanny ability to tell when things are going to go bad. Never when things are going to go good, just when things go bad. And I could just feel it. And so that's when I started to, talk more about it. And like, because I never said anything on Facebook because I had a business. I didn't want to alienate any of my customers because it wasn't important enough to me. Well, I'm sorry. Well, I didn't have 5,000 followers. I had like 7, so I'm not.
No, I'm laughing because I alienated a shit ton of my customers.
But you understand what I'm talking about. Yeah. Which is why I never posted anything on Facebook, never on Instagram. I never even did Twitter. And I was like, that's just for a bunch of weirdos or whatever. But then and I didn't really understand it or know who was on there. I just know news articles quoted from Twitter a lot. Like, Twitter was the source for, for the, fuck, I lost the word. That
news breaks faster on Twitter.
Well, that was like the public voice was what people were saying on Twitter, because that's what they do, is they'll like quote some random person on Twitter and be like, well, this is what these people think. No, it's just some dude that has like 27 followers. Nobody cares. Bobby, hush. So, yeah. And it was just, and then the election happened and I was like, something's fucky here. And, I started to go down some rabbit holes about stuff, and I started looking into more stuff, and I was like, I was always kind of open to the idea of that stuff happening because I knew that people were shitty and sketchy and they're going to do what they want to get money and power. But I didn't think they'd go that far. And they are going that far. And it makes me more and more angry every time I think about it. And so that's kind of where I got to this point. And I think I kind of blew past libertarianism for the most part, and I'm like, fuck it, it needs to go. Every single bit of it needs to go. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm done. Fuck your roads. I'm an anarchist now.
I'll fucking walk.
Yeah. I'm done. I'm just fucking done. And I know I could see that there was no fixing it, and I could see that the Constitution isn't worth any more than the fucking parchment it's written on. Because if they're allowed to just bulldoze through all this shit and do all this unconstitutional stuff, then it doesn't do anything, But of course, I was talking to somebody earlier, like, I think I'm just going to assume, I guess, this is what I think, that the founding fathers thought that maybe we would take action like 100 years ago. I don't think that they thought that we would ever let it get this far either before we decided to, have another tea party, I guess, for lack of a better term. But we obviously haven't.
The Constitution only has value if the people hold their government accountable. And that's like where things went off the rails, was where everything became about like, what can the government provide for me? When it was like the original idea that the founding fathers have was like the government is supposed to preserve liberty, but that only exists if like the people protect that. And somewhere that just fell apart.
It became uncool to go after the government, and it's like, no, go on.
Well, and it's just these tiny little increments. I mean, you think about it. I can't imagine. 100 years ago. Well, I guess it's like 105 now or something. Like, we didn't have income tax, and it's like that was a thing. Like, people lived without.
Yeah, it was like 19th started.
Yeah. Yeah, see, thank you, Seffi. Yeah, I need to start doing that shit. Get over my Folgers coffee, though, because I don't drink tea. Maybe my Diet Pepsi, but, they're an evil conglomeration, too. So, but Pepsi never told me to be less white, so fuck you, Coke. Here, I'll even get the brand in there. There we go.
It kind of like you got stuck. It like glitched for a minute when you put that up. Well, ladies, we're at 2 hours. Should we call it? Was this fun? Did you guys have fun?
Do it again.
I mean, we can keep going. If we keep going, though, I'm gonna have to keep peeing and getting more beers. So we can. It's up to you guys.
I'm surprised I'm still holding it. Bob's bugging me to go feed him because I'm pretty sure my husband is not home yet. So he is working late tonight. I don't even know what time it is. Is it 9 o'clock already? Oh, that poor bastard. They always
for you,
so
yeah.
hard.
It's 9 o'clock for you.
It is. Yeah. Okay. Well, I will do another soup thread. Just stirring, because since I lost all my soup threads, so you guys will get your slow-mo soup porn. Oh.
Your flag's
falling. Oh no. And yeah, now your flag's falling. Yeah, plug whatever you guys want to plug. Plug your guys' all your names and stuff, and if you have anything to plug.
Emily, you go
I'm
ahead.
a State of Emily on all of my social media. I just started a TikTok, which is the most obnoxious app on the planet. Every time you open it, someone's like yelling at you. But yeah, if you want to follow like my bodysuits, my yoga, all the things I got going on, just look for a State of Emily on all the apps.
And Susie's got
and I do
soup.
nothing except for hate the government and make soup, raise chickens. The only thing I could do to fuck the state is, sell things with no sales tax. So
that's the good stuff.
I'm at Eat Band Steak, BANNED Steak on Twitter. Everywhere else, I'm at Susie Bartlow. I'm on Discord and Telegram and Gab and Clubhouse, if that's even a thing anymore. I don't know. I don't go on there. So if anybody wants an invite to Clubhouse, I have like 10 of them to give away. Well, I just feel like everybody needs to make an account, a couple accounts somewhere. That way, if we all do get yeeted off of Twitter, then we can all find each other again, because I think this network is extremely important. Even just for maybe even a little emotional support, but especially if stuff starts getting tougher, we may need to do some mutual aid kind of situations. And it's nice to have that. So anyway.
For sure. No, that's very true. We all need to keep our communities together and build your communities local as well as you can, as much as you can. And I'm Forest Mommy. I'm at the Desert Daddy right now, though I don't have Forest Mommy's dead. So, but thanks for everyone for watching. We had like 15 people watching the whole time. So we're so popular, guys. Yeah.
I know, it was Suffy because he sent for you guys. So.
But we'll do it again for sure. This was super fun. It was fun just chatting.
I do want to talk about his ass for a minute though. Can we talk about that dad ass or whatever that was that he posted?
In the jeans pictures.
Oh my god.
I was like, are those Levi's? What is that? I was pretty sure they were acid wash. I just pictured him
That
with a
was
pair of
so
like
dad.
white New Balances and like a polo shirt or something, and maybe one of those phone clip things on the side.
And definitely like I can picture the jacket he would wear too. Yeah, that was such a dad ass. I loved it.
I'm sure he has a members only jacket. Don't you, Sophie? Hey, he's loving this. He's getting all the attention he wants. You know how he cries for attention.
I was like, "You're so pretty. You're so pretty, Sophie. I don't know what you
You
look like,
should
but your ass
DM
is
us all
pretty."
a
So.
selfie. We all want to see a selfie. I
Yes.
really want to see what you look like. So please
Yes.
send me
That
one.
would be a good idea.
Just for us. It'll be like our special 3-way. So
Four-way. All right, thank you, girls. Thanks everybody for logging on, and we'll see you. We'll be on Twitter in a minute anyway, so we'll see
Yeah,
you over
we'll
there.
see you on Twitter.
fuck the
Bye,
state.
everybody.
Bye.